So the ice sheet in the West Antarctic is melting, and it's melting rapidly. In two separate studies, one that was done by UC Irvine and another one that was done by the University of Washington, has discovered that in the next few centuries, because of the rapidly melting ice sheet, water levels, or I should say sea levels, are expected to rise as much as 10 feet. So that is going to be a complete and utter disaster because it will wipe away some of the major cities, including Miami. Now, the UN had previously released a similar report that said that climate change is having a terrible impact on our environment at this moment, but the effects are expected to be catastrophic in the next few decades. So let me give you some examples of what the University of California at Irvine found. They said, today we present observational evidence that a large sector of the West Antarctic ice sheet has gone into irreversible retreat. It has passed the point of no return. And that's really the important thing to take away from this. We've already caused the damage. Human or man-made climate change, I should say, has caused so much damage that now we need to find ways to mitigate the consequences of it. So
let me get this right. Once the glacier falls off the land and goes into the water, you can't put it back on the land. Mm-hmm. So sad day, point of no return, mm-hmm. right? And then when that melts, because before it was on the land, now it'll melt in the water. That makes a difference. That's why sea levels rise, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a very simplistic explanation of what's happening, but roughly right. So we're, as humanity, basically on the Titanic. We see the iceberg literally headed straight for us. We're like, we'll be fine. This ship is indestructible.
Yeah. I think part of the reason why a lot of people don't feel any sense of urgency when it comes to this issue is, well, first of all, in the US, we have an entire political party that keeps claiming that climate change either doesn't exist, or if it does exist, it's not really our responsibility. We didn't cause it as humans, which of course is a lie. But then there's also the whole issue of short-term and long-term consequences of climate change. So the sea level isn't going to rise 10 feet in the next few months, or in the next few years, or in the next few decades. It's expected to happen over the next few centuries. So I think a lot of people see that and they're like, well, I'm not going to change my lifestyle and my habits. I'm not going to inconvenience myself because I'm not going to really see the consequences. But the truth is we're already seeing some of the consequences with the extreme weather and such.
So Marco Rubio, senator from Florida, ironically, given that some of Florida will be underwater because of this, recently said that, oh, no, there's no such thing as man-made climate change, right? I'm going to be needlessly nice to him and say he's too smart to believe that. Mm-hmm. He gets paid to believe that. Al Gore came out today and was like, look, it's not that complicated. They don't want the Koch brothers funding primaries against them. They want the Koch brothers' money to go to them. Koch brothers are in the oil business. Mm-hmm. So it's not complicated. They want to keep getting that oil, and it leads to climate change, but they want to be richer and richer and richer. They already have, I think, well over $70 billion combined, but it's not enough. Keep digging. We haven't hit the Balrog yet. Keep digging, right? And they think, and the Koch brothers, yeah, they're fairly advanced in age. They're not going to be around when Miami and New York are underwater. Sad day for Miami and New York.
Yeah. And it's not just Miami and New York. New Orleans, Boston, they're all highly vulnerable, including to the UN report and the two separate reports that were recently released. And also another researcher from NASA says, this is really happening. There's nothing to stop it now. But you are still limited by the physics of how fast the ice can flow. And according to the United Nations and their scientific committee, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, they have warned that the global sea level could rise as much as 3 feet by the end of this century if stronger efforts are not made to control greenhouse gases. So again, we are going to see some consequences relatively soon, and we need to do something. And it goes beyond the United States, obviously. There needs to be some sort of international agreement to do something about emissions, do something about what we're doing to the environment right now.
Well, so Rubio's answer to all of those reports is, oh, it's okay because I don't believe scientists. Okay, but scientists, it's not like it's a religion, like, oh, no, I don't believe in Judaism, or I don't believe in Buddhism. It's science, it's studying facts. And now this giant ice sheet is already in the water. It's taking its talents to South Beach. Whether you believe it or not, it's just as real. And by the way, even if you think, oh, it's not man-made, you still have to do something about it. Let's say that it was alien-made, right? Or it just happened because of natural fluctuations in the temperature. We would still have to fix it. Otherwise, our cities are going to be underwater. 3 feet rise in the sea level by the end of this century. is disastrous for cities all across the world and in America. And they're like, what? I don't see it. I don't know what you're talking about. I get paid not to see it.